it's hard not to come to the conclusion when you look at our evolutionary history that we as a species have survived for millions of years, thousands of years in our current form. So, the majority of women in the UK will give birth without any need for medical intervention. Statistics to a large extent bear that out. But we would be not serving you in our goal of supporting men who are seeking to support their partners as they give birth if we didn't talk about those times when birth experiences don't go as we planned, when our expectations about how we want that special time to go are not met. And in the UK at the moment, we have a rising rate of women who experience symptoms that you would call depression. It's called postpartum depression. We have rising rates of that. We also have rising rates of men experiencing similar symptoms after the birth of their baby. It caused me to remember when I think about those statistics, times when I've looked after I remember one particular instance, two women in a short space of time. They both had babies. They both gave birth in a pool, in a birthing pool. They were both the first human beings to touch their baby. Both of these women chose not to have an injection for the placenta. Both of these women were naked, funny enough. Now, as someone looking at what happened, you would say these births were the same. Now, being in contact with these women afterwards, I was blown away by the fact that these women were living in an experience of the birth afterwards that was very different. One of the women, if you spoke to her, would have described the experience as empowering, a really significant life event. And the other woman experienced what you would call depression. In fact, she went on to have post traumatic stress syndrome symptoms. Now, what's the difference between these two women? Well, in terms of what happened, there was very little difference. If you videoed it and looked at it, apart from being different people, they would look like very similar happenings or experiences. So it wasn't in what happened that you can find the answer to why they had the experience they had. The difference was in the stories that they told themselves about what happened. And obviously, those stories are always going to be as unique as how many humans there are on the planet. There is a distinction between what happened and the stories we live in. The article or blog that comes with this video goes into more detail about that. And actually, it points you in the direction of a technique or a way of thinking about this difference between what happens and the stories that we tell that you may find useful, not just or in the context of birth, but maybe in life generally.